All right. Welcome to Chat the Chief. So excited to be here with you, Stephen and Albert.
Thank you.
Great to be back together.
I will have to admit, I was giggling to myself last night as I was prepping for this, Bert, because of how timely the topic is. So we're going to talk about the art of the sale and specifically selling to the CEO. And I'm hoping that we can churn this episode pretty quickly because we at Insight Global, like many companies, our fiscal year is aligned with the calendar year. So we are in 2026.
Timely.
Budget planning, looking at what we're going to approve for 2026. So we've got internal stakeholders, we've got vendors all lining up, trying to pitch Bert Bean on what should make it into.
So when do we drop it? We need to drop this like right before Investor Day.
100%.
Everybody's gonna be like,
It's November 14th.
We'll
get
we got. It's got to come out before November 14th.
We'll watch it Chat the Chief because
Let's
we
find out.
potentially have the answers to the
test.
That's right.
here
That's right.
Now, but in all seriousness, I mean, you do have people internally, externally coming to you. You're running a multi-billion-dollar company, and so I wanted to unpack how you like to be sold to, what makes a person effective in unpacking why a product or a service is something worth buying, and whether that's a financial investment or a time investment. So I want to look at it internally and externally, but we'll start off internally. So when a person comes to you with an idea, what is a good pitch? Can you walk us through a good experience of a good sell?
Yeah, so I follow a really simple formula, and it's educate me, assure me, make me a believer, make me a champion. It's actually on my whiteboard. I don't know if you guys can zoom in and see it, but because I mean, as CEO, I'm being sold to every second of my life, right? I mean, even if people don't think they're selling to me, they're always selling to me, and so I'm kind of the last line of defense in that way. So to unpack that a little bit, I want people to really know what their ask is, and I want them to educate me. I can't possibly know all the things out there. I can't know all the problems or all the great opportunities, but whoever wants the investment, they're living in it. And so it's really easy for them to speak past the person they're selling to. It's easy for them to speak above their head without even meaning to. So it's really, hey, break this down on like a fifth grade level and educate me on what this is. Be super clear. Simple slides, simple languages, no acronyms. If you put an acronym, if you put an acronym in front of me, it's over. There's few things.
Visceral reaction.
There's few things more just worse than acronyms in corporate America. I mean, it's overdone. They're the worst. Yeah. So really simple language, really simple slides, really educate me. And then once I sort of understand what the ask is, then assure me on the risk. Okay, so what happens if this fails? What happens if it goes wrong? What happens if it blows up in a good way? What are the real risks here? And then how are we planning against that? Also, let's say, like, what happens if we make the investment and it doesn't like blow up, but it's not that great of an investment? How do we shut it down? Like, assure me that you're going to shut it down, and we're not just going to let this thing run out here in the business and just be a sort of a distraction with very little value. And then make me a believer. So that's where you've got to really bring competence from the finances, from a business plan. Here's what this is going to cost. Here's my clear ask on that. Here's what the ROI should be. By the way, if we're going to make an investment, a little pro tip here, it shouldn't just be like, so we need $1 million, and if we can do that, then we're going to be able to generate like $1 million. Because then it's like, well, why would we do it at all? So I want to invest in things that I could get 2 to 3 or 4x return on that, let's say, at least. So really show me that you really have thought through this, and this is a fun thing, and you're going to make me a believer in your cause. Now, the last one, make me a champion or make me your champion. That's one that few people will ever get to. I don't expect that to be sort of in everybody's pitch, but if you can convince me so well through educating me, assuring me what the ROI is, what the payback is, and if you can bring a certain level of conviction and enthusiasm and certainty and get me fired up and make me your champion, well, then I'm going to put your cause in front of other people's causes. Then I'm going to be out there. I'm going to take up the mantle and sell for you. I'm going to get other people involved. I'm actually going to get behind this. It's not just I approve it. No, I'm going to push it myself. So that's kind of what I look for.
That's the ideal state. Have you seen that all done in one meeting, or does that typically take multiple iterations for a person to go through that process. And I know you said the champion, sometimes that apex level is never reached, but educate, assure, make me a believer.
I have.
Can
yeah.
that be done in one season?
It can. It absolutely can. Sometimes it can be done over time, but I like to make decisions fast around here. So, yeah. I mean, once, in 1 hour, I mean, if somebody comes in knowing all the facts and having a real point of view and check all those boxes, then yeah, you can flip me right away.
It grabs your attention in a pitch and or makes you completely zone out?
You know, I would say like somebody that can really articulate what the opportunity is in the simplest terms, and somebody that can really articulate like what is the need and here's how I'm going to fill it. That is really interesting to me. Also, and this is maybe hard to articulate, but I love seeing people that know how to think different. And so constantly in corporate America, we're always running into things. Like we're running into obstacles constantly, and that's true in any organization. Well, we're going to do this thing here, but we can't, or we're going to try to sell this service over here, but we can't do that because that's just not what we do. And that's where like good ideas sort of go to die, as they run into these sort of artificial rules that we create in corporate America. And I love it whenever I see that people can think different about things. So, for instance, we do a lot of engineering staffing. But we're rarely sort of like out there, like actually like building roads or like building buildings or doing some of the stuff that would require a professional engineering license and professional engineering stamp to like certify things. Why? Well, because it's got certain levels of risk, and we may not have proper insurance and all that sort of thing. So. But I'm dying and waiting on somebody to come to me and be like, Bert, we do so much engineering work. We need to do this professional engineering work as well, because here's what the opportunity is. But instead, I'm constantly hearing stories where people sort of get opportunities or get swings at bat, but then they're told, well, no, we can't do that because we're not set up in that way. And they're told, by the way, for good reasons by corporate folks here that are saying, hey, we're trying to protect the company. We can't do that. Well, I need the person that can say, got it. Well, other companies have found a way to do this and make money at it. Yes, right? Okay. Well, then if I can just make the math work, if I can put the plan together, then I'm just going to pitch it to Bert that, hey, here's how I'm thinking different about this. Here's what I think we could do. Here's why this makes sense. Here's why this should be good for us. Here's why Insight Global should move in a different way here.
Right. It's not impossible.
Yeah.
It's just a unique way in which I can approach the challenge and
Exactly.
solve for it. Invest in this.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, so fascinating. I feel like the work that you've done in your past at Compass, you've probably faced this with a lot of CEOs or executives that you've sold to. And Compass is kind of an interesting thing because it's not a clear sell. It's not a clear, hey, here's the outcome that you're going to get. So you've probably had to go through those steps.
Yeah.
What has your approach been? What hurdles have you had to overcome? And what have you found to be effective when you've sold to executives, whether it's Compass or anything, I guess, in your career?
So, yeah, it's hard with Compass. It's not the easiest sell in the world.
Right.
It's like, what is the thing, right? It's culture. Okay, show me that.
Like the believer
be a
part
little
is probably the hardest part.
Yeah, certain people you meet and they're like ready to go.
Yes.
But other people, and I think connected to educate me, assure me, make me a believer, make me a champion. It's like what surrounds that. Like, am I trying to sell something to you for my benefit, or am I really trying to help you?
Yes.
And with the Compass sell, what I always try to do is be very empathetic of the person I'm talking to and really get into their shoes and understand them before I even get close to thinking about selling them a thing. Got to set context, got to educate on like why we're talking. But, the moment that you focus on what someone else wants is when you start getting what you want. Like that couldn't be more true than and I think this is not just a sell of Compass. I think it's a sell of anything. Like I love just trying to figure out where that person is and what results they're trying to achieve, what their challenges are, and like where their brain is right now. And then I think the first thing is to try to be really empathetic of that moment. Like I've seen this happen with Bert so many times. Someone comes in and they're like, assume Bert knows. Bert's the CEO. Of course he knows this fancy wizardy thing. And they're not thinking like, well, Bert just had 3 meetings this morning and the CEO's got to go to some meetings.
Yes.
And one of them was really whatever. And then, yeah, he's not fully educated on this topic. And so just going slow, figuring out where someone's headspace is, figuring out what their focus is, so that like the sell comes so much later.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to get into space to learn and to understand and try to get on the same side of the table as you. so that I can be seeing like what you're seeing and then positioning whatever it is that we might need to do, like very much in line with where you want to go.
Yeah. You know what's really attractive to see in salespeople is when they take a real curious approach to your business, and they don't come in assuming to be the expert in your business. And I've seen salespeople mess up with that, where they come in and they feel like they've got I get it. They're trying to establish credibility. And so they'll say things like, well, all your competitors do this, or I've worked in your industry a lot, or already I'm like, oh, I hate you. I mean, I don't disagree with you. Like, I hate you now, because like you're going to come into my building and I like you're an expert over me. Like, don't do that.
Right.
When I would love a humble approach more, where it's like, you come in, you know about my domain, but you start asking me questions. Well, how do you guys get successful? Okay, well, what about this? Or what is it that keeps you up at night? What is it that keeps your people up at night? Or, okay, well, I think I'm tracking. What about that? I mean, if you can take that type of approach, and then if you can start to ask me questions about my company, I mean, I love my company.
Yes.
So I'm going to talk as long as you want about my company. And I'm going to love doing that so much that I'm going to start to like you, because you're asking me about my company. And then once you start to want to sell me things, I'm going to be in a much better posture to buy, because you've been so much more curious.
Well, and that pitch will be so much better informed, because it would be customized to the needs of that. It reminds me of the term you always use, the humble consultant. What's the origin of that?
So yeah, the expert versus the humble consultant is like language I try to use a lot, because if you're an expert, like you better be an expert.
Yeah, like
you better be
real deal.
So good.
Yeah.
Because if you're like an expert, if you're a pretend expert, like it's time until it doesn't work. I'll just wait, because it's not if but when.
Or sometimes you'll get a jerk like me, and I will string along pretend experts all day because it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
But there's a hack that Bert was just talking about. So if I'm the humble consultant, my weapons are questions and understanding. That's it.
Yep.
And what happens when you're the humble consultant is you ask questions, and then you help the person start to see their problem and start to categorize it. And then you play back to them what they're saying.
Yep.
And so contrast that with the expert who's saying best practices gobbledygook, which we all just kind of like hate.
And almost get defensive on.
Yeah, it's easy to be like, well, no, right? So, but if I'm playing back to you what you're saying and maybe taking it a little bit further in the direction I want to go, it's a hack, because people start to like you, because I'm replaying to them what they think and extending it a little bit. Also, and I do that like 6 or 7 times, and then it'd be so difficult for that person to be like, I don't like that guy, because I'm saying what you're thinking.
Yes, absolutely.
And so they're like, oh, but the art is to figure out how to just lead it a little further. So Katie, what I'm hearing from you is that this is your challenge.
Yep.
And it feels like this might be something you need to do next.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
Right? Compare that to, well, Bert, you're behind best practice. And we've done our assessment. And So you must
work,
because what people try to do actually is hack that.
Yeah.
And not educate me. Go slow. Make sure my brain's
It's almost
there.
trying to tap into fear.
They're trying to jump to the end.
Yeah.
Of like, well, it's the best practice. We did the discovery. We have look at the slide deck, and you're 50% behind benchmark. Spend the money. That's poor sales.
Yeah, the fear, the intimidation, speaking above somebody. I love the 5th grade language. It's like that's empowering the person.
It's actually, and it's very inclusive language.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
Corporate acronyms are the most uninclusive things you can see in meetings, because people get lost, people don't understand, and most people aren't the CEO and have the confidence to be like, I'm sorry, slow down. What does that mean again? And they're just going to sit there and be lost.
You know what movie I love is The Big Short, and how they take pauses.
I love it so much.
Financial terms, and it's like Margot Robbie in a bathtub. Like, let me explain to you. It's so good.
It is.
And then you realize, like, wait, I could definitely learn all of these finance terms. Like, this is just really, really complex names for simple terms.
Yes.
Simple concepts.
It's also the mindset that you're using. So are you selling? Are you a salesperson, which is like transact? Or are you partner and trying to go that route?
Yep.
Because there's like a chemical shift in your brain where you're like, I'm over my sale, my thing, whatever. I'm just trying to contribute toward what this person's trying to accomplish.
Or it's not actually a pitch.
Because I love it when I can actually feel myself in the meeting get there. Where I'm actually like, I've left like, okay, it's a meeting and you got to make a sale and hopefully you get a good result. Like I've left that so far behind and I'm with this person on the journey trying to help them.
Yes.
Like you can feel it and then they feel it. Like,
Yep.
oh, I get it. This person's trying to help me.
Yep.
They're you know,
most people, if they have a need, they will buy something to fill that need.
For sure.
Yep.
And so it's just figure out what the need is. Really try to figure out what the need is. Try to really seek to understand as much as you can. And then when you feel like you've got it, spoon feed them the information you're trying to get them to learn about you, about your service, about your product. So it's easy to digest. And then it just sort of sells itself. And then it kind of does default to, okay, I do have this need. Okay, that does seem like it could track. Do I like you or not?
Yep.
Do I just like you?
Yeah.
And if
Yep.
I do like you, then we're probably going to do this. If
Yes.
I don't, I'm going to come up with any reason to not do it.
And find a competitor.
Yeah.
So
Katie, really quick, can
Yeah.
I hack this for people?
Sure.
For Investor Day. I've seen this play out a lot. I was on Team Bean for quite a while. I've seen some pitches to Mr. Bean.
behind the scene.
So educate me. Like if you can't explain something simply, you probably don't understand it. I've seen that go pretty poorly
Yep.
many times. That's a big one. But in the assure me, make me a believer, and I think this is true of Bert, but it's true of a lot of people. Like what Bert's looking for is passion and cycles and like, oh, you're in this thing. You are in it.
Yeah.
Not like, yeah, like we worked on this a little bit and we think it's a good idea and we read a book. Like what Bert's looking for is like you've applied grit
Yep.
to your thing.
Yep.
And like, okay, you've thought it through.
Yeah.
So that's
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well said. Well said.
tee up
Yeah.
to the question, and maybe that's the answer, or maybe there's more to this. But with all of the beautiful ideas, or ugly and beautiful, but all the good ideas that are surfaced to you internally, how do you make those determinations? Because it's not necessarily a matter of just, okay, this is the one good idea that I want to move forward with. You might have 5 that are competing for the same dollars.
Yeah.
How are you determining which is the one deserving or the multiple?
So let's say it's on the topic. Yeah, it's a little. I think it's a little easier than you would think. But so on the topic of, let's say this is an idea around generating new revenue.
Yep.
Then it just comes down to, is this thing going to have product market fit?
Yep.
Is the market going to want it? And will it scale? There's tons of times where I get pitched on things like, maybe we should open up this office here, or we should do this here. And you just skip to the end to be like, okay, well, how does that scale?
Yep.
Right? Because like we're almost $5 billion of revenue at this point. You've got a little thing here that's cool that maybe somebody bought once. But like if that doesn't scale to become like, I don't know, at least $100 million in the next 5 to 6 years, then what
something else.
are we talking about?
Right.
Like it's just not that interesting.
So the
And
scalability.
how does it scale? Right. And a lot of times people sort of, are seeing things that are right here, which is cool, but they're not looking at it from a true, let's say, CEO standpoint, where I've got to do something with this. This is going to have some other unintended consequences in the business. There's going to be other sort of work that has to be done in corporate to support this, all those things. So this thing better scale. And then does it truly have product market fit? I mean, the best I think example of product market fit in the world is probably the iPhone. You introduce it and it's just boom, it's gone. I'm always going to like that more than the thing that I've got to really beat people over the head to try to sell. Things that have like true perfect product market fit, there is no selling involved.
Right.
It just fits
That's
right and
so
it goes.
true. One thing that I've learned recently too is not necessarily the question of if it's profitable or if there is ROI. You said, okay, yeah, it costs $1 million and it gives me $1 million. Even if it costs $1 million and it gives you 10 million, compare it to other things that give you ROI and how profitable is it. I've had to zoom out on that, and I've really learned to compare it to other things to determine, is this the best way to spend that dollar? And that's given me a lot of perspective to determine even the things that I want to surface as ideas that I want to suggest that we invest in. So I've used that perspective as well.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, it's try to start with the end in mind a little bit. This is what this can become, or this is what that total addressable market looks like for this thing I want to step into.
Yeah.
Engineering, right? We want to do more in the engineering space to stay on that topic. We need to get our professional engineering stamp. That would open up, a total addressable market of $4 billion.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. That's stuff that we didn't have before. Okay, get it. Now you've sort of hooked me a bit. Tell me more.
Right. Or even like as we go more and more more international? Which country? Certainly,
Exactly.
we've got clients that want us to go here versus there, but which ones do we have additional customers that are wanting us to go to?
And there's countries in Europe that make it really hard to want to do that. They just prefer you not be there and do business.
Yep.
And so,
We'll just book our vacation. Stick to the passport. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, shifting, because we did start to dabble into the external, and I've heard you speak very positively of some of our external vendor sales reps who you've worked with over the years. What has made them stand out to you as excellent people that you enjoy working with? What are the traits of those individuals?
Yeah, so there, one that comes to mind is actually McKinsey, and McKinsey sort of gets a bad rap that they would, they're the experts that come in and make you feel stupid and all that kind of stuff, and maybe they do a lot of cases, but we've only had one experience with them, and it's been really positive, and they came in. Yeah, they came in. Well, they came in with. I don't know if I'm a champion on them yet, but I'm definitely a believer in their approach. They came in and they're certainly smart and certainly know their stuff, but did not feel a need to speak above anybody's head. They could get on anybody's level. As they were talking to us about our business and some tweaks that we were trying to make to our business, they were not afraid to be like, oh, okay, is that not right? Is that not done? Okay, that's right. Or as they were coaching us up on these sort of new behaviors that we were trying to learn, and we're like, gosh, yeah, this is, man, we're farther away from this than I thought. They were quick to be like, oh, everybody is. Oh, this is not a big deal. And just, I don't know, they made you feel really safe and you weren't stupid and all that kind of stuff. And I loved how, exactly what you said, Steve, I felt like McKinsey moved to my side of the table.
Yeah.
Which is cool because I know that all these guys went to Harvard. I mean, they're all super smart. And so it was a genuine, like, really wanting me to be successful with the consulting that they were giving us.
Yeah, that's
really wanting us to be successful.
They did. I got to work quite a bit with their team, and two things like really stood out. They learned our language. We didn't have to learn a new language to work with them.
Yep.
Like they did such an intentional job of that. Like learning our language, speaking our words.
Probably called out as a best practice.
And then not only are they really smart, but they were as hardworking as anybody on our team. Like I'd be leaving late. I'd see them. I'd be coming in early. I'd see them. And they were here, like very here, very present, doing the work with us. I was actually so sad when my guy left because like he was just here. He was a part of the thing, like, super involved, taking part in everything. And I think humble consultant, like,
they definitely epitomize that.
You think of McKinsey, like I was thinking experts, they have expertise, but person by person, humble consultant. And then the other thing that they just did a really good job of, and I think everybody should think this way, is before we do anything, like what is the cost of the problem that we're solving? That was a big thing I learned from them.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Like, because it's easy to get passionate about something because there's a problem to solve. We got to fix this.
There's so many.
Like you see someone in every meeting you go to, like guy who's fired up about fixing problem guy.
Yep.
Right? It's like, well, what's the cost of that problem? And is that the right thing to do right now?
Right.
They were really good at that.
They were really objective. I mean, that kind of goes into some of the things. And it's funny because if you're being pitched on something, you do want to see passion and you do want to see enthusiasm. You want to see conviction. But I also need to see a certain sense of objectivity, almost in some ways almost emotionless, to not be afraid to move off something if we both sort of see that that's okay, you're not buying this or this isn't right, okay, it's done.
Such a good point.
And they were so willing to say, okay, yeah, that doesn't sound like it's going to work, and kill it, as opposed to, no, we've got to make sure that you want everything.
Yep.
So Katie, this is such a I was talking about this week, language used, not sure if it's good language, but like going native, where you can be too much of a humble consultant and so focused on your customer that you actually fully lose your interests and you're sort of too far, and you actually can unintentionally become not useful because you're not objective and you're not actually able, because you should be the humble consultant like 70 to 80% of the time. Okay. The other 20 to 30% of the time, you better have some expertise or you're not valuable, or you don't have a spine, or you have right. Like, and you feel this when you work with certain groups. Like if someone never tells you no, or they never steer you.
Yeah, it's a good litmus test of,
is that person valuable to you, or what's happening in this relationship?
What are you providing that's different than what I already had?
Right. So it's a watchful tip for salespeople. Is like, have you just fully gone native?
Right.
Are you just fully in the client environment? It's the only client you know. Whatever they want, you're focused on. You're not leading them at all. Like there's a balancing act between expert and humble.
When you were determining which professional services firm to go with, you didn't know all of this prior. So what gave you a sense of this that made you decide to go with McKinsey versus any of the others?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly wasn't their name. I mean, I think I openly mocked them in our first meeting because they're like, okay, here we go. It's the big, smart McKinsey guys. To which, they didn't really laugh.
I called them elitist in the Sharpen the Saw deck, which is an internal training deck, and I showed it to them on accident. And they responded really well.
But
they were really.
But it was definitely a bit of a test because I want to see how they're going to respond to that.
Yeah.
And they sort of like smirked, and I was like, okay, well, we're going to show you why we think we have a point of view. And and I love the like, I'm always suspicious of consultants in some ways that haven't done enough work. And these guys they had a point of view, and they have done a lot of work. And it was like, we can take this any which way you want to go. Here's our thesis, but we'd love to learn more about Insight Global.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yep.
What about cringy sales experiences? Have you had anything really bad? We don't have to name names.
I mean, I've had I mean, one guy kind of made fun of the school I went to once in our first meeting, and they just were. I mean, they were dead on arrival. They didn't have a chance. Yeah, I mean, anytime, kind of back to what I said earlier. Anytime somebody comes in and they're throwing too much at you too fast, and they're just waterboarding you with slides. Mm-hmm. It's just that you're just going to lose me because most people just don't know the material that well. And so you're better off going slow to make sure I fully get it and I fully understand.
Yeah, I do like the concise delivery of, hey, here's the partnership, here's the opportunity.
I also need you to skip to the end for me.
For sure. Tell me why.
Like once you've broken it down and you made it simple, got it. But now skip to the end and tell me why.
Do you remember? Well, I mean, this was very recent, so this isn't like a do you remember, but to call to your recent memory the QBR that we were in with a vendor who was like kind of on the fence already, and they said our name wrong. They said Insight. Oh, well, I don't know. I always want to say Instagram, and sorry, it's confusing.
Yeah, that was cringy.
In our systems, we've got your name listed wrong in several different ways. So sorry, Insight Global, right?
Nice.
And we were sitting there. You've got to be kidding me. Like, at least show respect for the people with whom you're meeting. And I have a great sense of humor, so I can laugh anything off. But that just showed a lack of preparation and a lack of care, frankly.
100%.
It was painful.
I mean, also, but anytime somebody comes with like, we've been able to increase gross margins by 30 or 40% with every one of our customers, and they lead with these sort of outlandish claims, right. or this is the best. They lead with, we're really good at helping companies, raise their enterprise value. Really good at raising their multiple. I'm like, I just don't believe you. Yep. I just don't believe you. And now you're overselling, and you don't have to do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Overselling, over-talking are the root of all cringy moments.
Yep.
I think if you are active listening, you're not going to go wrong. Like the cringiest moments I've been a part of recently are people over-talking, over-explaining, going like, if you're like 4 minutes and you're still talking, like you're not selling. Like you might think that's what sales is, but you must stop, please.
I've also seen or felt in my recent role, I've been sold to quite a bit. And when they're committed to the talk track that they came in with, and are too rigid to adjust based on what I've said in the meeting as to what my needs or my interests are, and they keep on forging ahead. And to your point about asking the questions, you've got to be flexible, and it's painful.
Yeah,
to see.
I think like warning signs if you're in a meeting and you're selling has your customer gone mute?
Yeah,
right? That's a really good. But you may not always know if you're committed to a talk track or you're over explaining. As a former sales guy myself, I'm always kind of like rooting for the sales guy in the room and trying to understand and stuff. Yeah. And I'm trying to connect, because I'm trying to help them make the sale to me. I can't help it. But if I'm like a little bit talked over, if they keep going, then I will just shut off and just go along for the ride now. And I go mute. And I just wait for the clock to run out.
I'm so dramatic one way or the other. If the person's good or has potential to be good, and I can tell is trying, I'm like their biggest fan, and I'm trying to pull the best. I'm giving them the little cues. But if they are bad and lazy, I'm pissed.
Evil.
From the jump. I'm jabbing. I mean, I am making it miserable. So you either have the best of me or the worst of me. That is how I am.
There's this Richard Branson quote that I heard that really, like, going to bigger meetings, I'll remind myself of. Like, his sales philosophy was, I'm not sure if I'm going to be the perfect partner for you, but I think it's worth a conversation to see if I might be able to help.
Oh, that's excellent.
And that's like his mentality.
Yeah,
and I love
great.
having that it's like a confident uncertainty.
Yeah.
Because I think the worst salespeople will also be overconfident to
Correct.
a thing. And I think just being like one of the most confident things you could do as a salesperson is say, I'm actually not sure. Or to be uncertain about the solution.
Yeah.
Like a way we could do this is this.
Yep.
Another way might be to do this. So it's counterintuitive, but I like speaking in uncertainties a little bit.
Yep.
A possibility here,
Yep.
Katie, could be this.
Yep.
Instead of, I'm going to pin you down and here we must do. Nobody likes that, right?
Yes.
So that like confident uncertainty, something we might think about.
Right.
Like, because then I don't back anybody into a corner and get them doing what Bert does to people, where it's like, all right, I'm going to, you know.
Well, and I think that goes to the expert. If you are not an expert, you should not claim to be one. I think that curiosity rather than that certainty is a good lane to play in. When I think about best practices as a salesperson, and I loved sales, it was so much fun to me. Like I love being convicted in my ability to deliver so long as I know that I can deliver. And that's not a promise to perfection, but that's a commitment that no matter what we face, we're going to work together to get through this. And I think that people appreciate that authenticity, and they want that. Again, they don't need the certainty that it's going to be perfect, but they want to work with someone who's convicted and that has got that passion. So combination of curiosity, not necessarily the expert. Bert, you've gotten more into the sales role. I feel like getting in front of customers as of lately. What have been your best tactics that you've used?
I just try to, I think the best thing I can bring is a fresh set of eyes, because I'm not on every single meeting. And then I am thinking more about the whole organization constantly. And at the level of customer I'm seeing, it's a lot of the C-level types. They're also thinking in that way. And so they're thinking about, you know, total cost and how this is going to impact different parts of the business. And, you know, things that are said on earnings calls is probably stuff that they're thinking about and is in their world. So I make sure I'm constantly plugged into all of that stuff. And what are the most important goals of the CEO of the company? I try to be aligned with, and I try to make sure I'm verbalizing that in these meetings.
Yeah, it's interesting to go CEO to CEO or CEO to executive.
CEO to CEO, I find is a breeze. It's
really?
It's super fun because I don't know. It's just you can just connect with a CEO as a CEO super easily.
Yeah,
because you're dealing with the same stuff. I mean, we may be
like, is it like a
little bit in some ways. I mean, we may be only 5 billion and they're 40 billion, but you know, this person still has to answer to shareholders. This person still has to answer to a board. This person still has to deal with people trying to sell him stuff constantly. This person still has to deal with team members that are on one side of things and some that are on the other side of things. So yeah, I mean, you have that. It's
my favorite person to sell to as well. I actually think it's a really good note for younger salespeople. Like what I've found is the higher up you go, like the cooler people are.
Oh yeah.
And the more simple the messaging.
100%. And a lot of times this person down here is like being who they think they should be, because they're like, when you're with the CEO, it's like, it's a lot more straightforward. And a lot of times they're authentic. They know.
They're like, tell me why does this make my business better?
That's right. That's right. Favorite person to sell to.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. All right, Steve, I want you to end us out with your best recommendations on how to sell to an executive. I've said a lot of them, but give us a concise how to, whether you're pitching internally to Albert Bean or you're pitching externally to an executive. Sum it up for us.
Recently, like there's some people in the Evergreen team that do an amazing job of this. They prepare like crazy. And then in the first 15 minutes of the meeting, you would never know that they did that much preparation. That's my advice.
Okay.
Prepare your ass off, but do not go into the meeting ready to... I'm going to show you everything I've learned. And I know that, right? Like I want for the first 15 minutes for the customer to not even really know that you're that prepared, because you're asking questions, you're learning. And then 15 minutes in, now I'm going to show you.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, that's well said.
That's so good. That's so good.
Hold, please. Because otherwise what happens, I prepare my ass off and then I talk and I'm still talking, and I'm still talking, and I've now.
And aren't you proud of me? Look at this.
Look at me.
Your company.
Look at me. I passed the test, but I've lost it.
Mm-hmm.
And the customer's like, well, you must know it sounds like you know it better than I do.
Yep.
Okay, great. So yeah, you have to be so educated, but slow play it.
Oh, that's so great.
Hold it. Wait. And even when you think wait a little longer.
Beautiful words of advice.
And shut the F up.
Yeah. Zip it.
I love it. Well, to those who are pitching to Bert in the coming weeks, may the odds be ever in your favor.
Good luck.
Good luck out there.
And now we are at our favorite section of Chat the Chief, where real listeners like you get to ask questions to Bert Bean himself. So
These are always so hard because I'm not prepared at all.
I know. So we can give you a second to think about this. Oh, this is the one word. This is a lot of gravity, and I know that you say things like words matter. So this is going to be a tough one.
This is hard.
So from Madison. Next time we should do last names and locations.
Yeah, we should.
Because it feels fake, but there really is someone named Madison who asked this question.
I bet it's Madison Collins.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Yeah.
If you had to describe our company's future in one word, what would it be? And to clarify, I said company, not country. That could be two different answers. So company's future, Insight Global's, in one word, what would it be?
It's really hard.
It's so hard.
Significant.
Oh, damn, I like that. Okay.
Nailed
I
it.
mean,
Wow.
I would like to say
Beautiful.
more,
Nailed
but
it.
if I've got to say, one, that's
I'm
it.
going to crochet that.
Nailed it.
Put it on the wall. Okay. Question number 2. This is from Chris in Evergreen. Oh, I'm curious about this too. This is good because you're a music guy. What album do you listen to all the way through, no skips?
Every Need to Breathe album, I will say I do.
Oh, that's good.
And then lately, it has been the last Morgan Wallen album.
Okay.
But I will say, as much as I like some of Morgan Wallen's stuff, some of his stuff is a slow burn.
Okay.
So I don't know if I probably have skipped if you know that I think about it. But if I'm on a long run, which is where I'll let one go. And look, I mean, yeah, I'll leave it at that.
All right, great.
Maybe a Taylor Swift one here and there, but yeah, I can't admit that. and I don't know about her last album. I don't. That's
Because you got to give it time. That's how that goes.
I don't know.
People say
I
that
think
about
she's
every
gone
new
a
album.
bridge too far with this one. That's a debate for another podcast. But
I'm not into it.
Elizabeth Taylor.
I probably shouldn't say that. But
I think
can't do
she's
it.
she's happily in a relationship now.
So it's
she's
over?
she's not as good of a. I feel like she's reaching.
Well,
Why are you picking on
you
Charlie
want happiness
CXC?
or musical success.
I just
Choose
don't-
one.
Charlie
I don't
CXC,
see
you're
the
punching
bangers. I see
down.
no bangers. It's I don't think you should be able to
I'll
reach
go.
that
I'll
level
go.
of stardom without that few bangers.
I think Elizabeth Taylor's pretty good. I
Whitney
think
Houston's
I think
like-
Oppolette's
Oh, wait,
good. I think
that's how I feel.
look, I think Father Figure is graphic and should never have been written. I mean, how can I'm sorry, you have 13-year-old girls that listen to this.
Yeah, but she's got the what's it
I don't
the PG version or
I guess. Yeah, and I'm sure they're only listening to that.
I'm 13. I'll listen to that one.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. I just think
Oh, I know. All right. Well, I like it. So, Taylor, I know you're listening and just want to let you know we support you. Okay. All right. Last question to wrap it up. Okay. What is a myth about Insight Global that you would like to debunk?
I heard one this week actually. And it was
When you were in Raleigh?
It was asked to me in almost like, dare I say, adversarial tone.
Oh,
But it was basically, hey Bert, I know ahead of the next company transaction, for those that don't know, we're privately held, so we have different whenever our private equity firm is ready to monetize, they sell us to another PE firm, and eventually we'll go public. And we probably have another private transaction coming up in the next year or so. And they said, "Hey, I understand that with before every transaction, there's a new CEO that comes in, so you'll be stepping down. So I'd like to know who is that next CEO going to be. I mean, a lot of people have their thoughts, and I was like,
a lot
wow.
of people have their
I
thoughts.
was like, that's so much in that. I was,
Yeah, did I just get fired?
yeah.
Am I out?
I was like,
you just?
did I miss a term for him? 9 come through? Yeah. So apparently the rumor is that I'm going to be like retiring or leaving. I mean, I'm only 43 in the next like very soon. So no, I'm not going anywhere. I like what I do, and that's not a thing. So CEOs have survived multiple transactions, and I plan to survive at least the next one.
So for now, Bert Bean will still be the chief on Chat the Chief.
Yeah.
Rest assured.
Yeah.
Well, with that, thank you for your candid answers to our questions, and we'll see you next time.
That sounds great.
Yep. Thanks everybody.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.